Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm going to share with you a little bit of my culinary past, sort of where I went to culinary school, what restaurants I worked at, and sort of how I became a part of YouTube. Hopefully this will clear some of the air as to who I am and where I came from, and sort of explain why I have such a passion for food, restaurants, the hospitality industry, and just sharing my past experiences with you guys. So here we go. I went to a community college out here in Sylmar, California, SoCal. It's a little bit inland. And I went there for 2 years. It was a community college. I saved a ton of money just because I didn't really have a ton of money to go to school. And I was really blessed and thankful that I got to go to this particular community college. They had a great culinary program, and I'm just so thankful that I went to this specific culinary school. I definitely recommend to those people who are looking into getting into the culinary industry, look into community colleges, look into certain culinary arts programs that aren't super expensive. Le Cordon Bleu and CIA are great colleges, and they offer really awesome equipment, really great teachers and instructors, but if you're going to go into debt doing that, I really don't recommend doing it. Look into specialty culinary arts programs at local community colleges or little art schools around your area, just because being a chef requires a lot of hands-on experience, as with any career, but really particular to this career because even if you don't go into culinary school, I'd recommend just going to an awesome restaurant and learning sort of the ropes and working yourself from the bottom to the top. I think it's just a great advice. About halfway through my culinary schooling, I got offered a job at a country club, which was a great sort of first step into the culinary industry and hospitality business. I was flipping hamburgers and hot dogs, starting to work my way into the fine dining area of the country club. About a year into that, I was graduating culinary school and just really starting to get my chops in the kitchen. Cutting myself and burning myself and doing all the things that a young culinarian does, and it was just a great experience. I worked there for I worked at the country club for about a year and a half. Shortly after, I got offered a job at a place called Inn of the Seventh Ray out here in Malibu, California, and it was really sort of not a cutting edge restaurant, but cutting edge in the sense that it was really one of the only restaurants serving a raw, vegan, and standard menu, fine dining menu. They had a lot of dehydrators and a lot of cool equipment that a lot of other restaurants that now have, just because they're cool techniques that you can use with dehydrators. And it's just great organic experience, and I'm so thankful that I worked there. Great people, great chefs, and good second step. I worked there for about a year and a half, and shortly after I got offered another job at a place called Republic Steakhouse out here in Hollywood, California, and another great experience. Learned a lot of high volume, high quality steaks and high volume production, stuff like that. I worked at Republic Restaurant for a year and a half. Shortly after, I got offered another position at a place called Hotel Angelino, so it was another great experience. I wanted to work at a hotel, get another insight, another perspective on the restaurant industry, and I got hired there as a chef tournant, and then eventually became junior sous chef, and sort of started to learn how to be a manager and sort of how to impart what I've learned and what I had learned the last couple of years to the people around me, and it was another challenge in my career. About a year or so into Hotel Angelino, I started to really think about wanting to, be involved in a super high quality fine dining restaurant, and I heard about the London West Hollywood. Gordon Ramsay was going to be a part of opening that hotel and establishing a restaurant there, and of course that huge name I wanted to be a part of. And shortly after, I sent my about 10 or 12 resumes to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant group, and they hired me as a cook too there, and I got to open a restaurant with Gordon Ramsay's staff, and that was just a crazy awesome experience. We did earn one Michelin star. It was an amazing experience. The chef sort of gathered all the cooks and the dishwashers and everybody into one room, and sort of we all celebrated, and it was really a great time. And I'm so blessed and thankful that I got to work for a restaurant that earned a Michelin star, and looking back on it, It's kind of incredible. Can't believe that I got to be a part of that. Shortly after earning the Michelin star, about 6 months later, Gordon Ramsay sort of sold all his rights back to the hotel, and the hotel team started to take over, and Gordon Ramsay's team started to disperse back to the UK and back to his sort of flagship restaurants. It was a little depressing, but it was a blessing in one sense, because Thomas Keller, the most decorated American chef, was opening a casual bistro called Bouchon in Beverly Hills. And as soon as I heard about that, I just jumped on it. I wanted to work for Thomas Keller for years. I mean, since culinary school, I heard about Thomas Keller and how incredible the French Laundry restaurant is. And as soon as I heard that he was opening a restaurant in LA, I jumped on it. I sent about 10 to 12 resumes and got a job as a chef de partie, and just an incredible experience. I think just the orientation was probably the most professional, the most inspiring intro to a restaurant group I've ever seen. As soon as I walked in the door for the orientation, it was absolutely incredible. Pastry chef shook my hand, Thomas Keller was there, shook everybody's hand. Everybody gave a huge speech. Really was an incredible experience, and I'm so thankful that I got to be a part of the Thomas Keller restaurant group. Working for Thomas Keller and Bouchon really taught me how to be a professional, not just a professional chef or professional cook, just to how to be presentable in all areas of being a chef or being a business person, individual. Every meeting we went to, everybody is super dressed up, super nice, very professional environment. I'm so thankful that I got to be a part of working for Thomas Keller and his group and his team, and I'm forever in debt to them, and super thankful. If anything, this video is dedicated to Thomas Keller and his team for really making my passions come to fruition, and just showing me how to be a professional, how to sort of present myself in all areas of my life. I sort of missed this a little bit. I didn't fill you guys in. I don't know why I forgot about this. That's why I have this computer in front of me to have little footnotes and stuff like that. During my employment at Gordon Ramsay's and Bouchon, I took a huge pay cut from the hotel that I previously worked at to work at these incredible restaurants. So during these the 3 years, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at the hotel, and I was working at Gordon Ramsay's, and following, obviously, Bouchon. So I was working about 18 hours a day. I'd work mornings at the hotel for when I worked at Gordon Ramsay's, and then at the hotel at night. And then when I worked at Bouchon, I worked mornings there, and I worked nights. And I worked about 18 hours a day, or 14 to 18 hours a day, 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week, depending. And that really sort of toughened my skin and helped me sort of see what kind of dedication it takes to really be involved in a restaurant and sort of the operations therein. So shortly after that, I quit Bouchon. I got hired as a sous chef at the hotel that I was working at nights, at Hotel Angelino. That really helped me income-wise, and sort of started to straighten out my life a little bit, because working 18 hours a day was starting to wear on me a little bit, and wear on my relationship with my wife, and she was just an amazing wife during that whole time. But I think at that time it was really sort of needed for me to cut down on the hours and really focus on being a manager and running an operation myself. So throughout my Bouchon employment and my hotel employment, my wife was doing a YouTube channel, and it was kind of an interesting thing. And she partly created it because I was gone so much. It kind of helped her fill her time, and she had a great passion for it. And a couple of I'm sure some of you requested that I started to make chef videos and cooking tutorials. And I thought it was just such an awesome idea. I put up my first video, which was the sunny side egg video, and I got great feedback, and sort of had a little light bulb moment, and sort of a little aha moment. As you work in the kitchen, you have to impart what you're learning to the people around you. Otherwise, you just get swamped with tasks and chores and unnecessary work, and you really have to learn to delegate and teach others. And I started to learn my passion in that. I started to realize that I really enjoyed taking the techniques that I learned from others, making them my own, and then teaching others the techniques that I have sort of perfected, not necessarily perfected, but fine-tuned to a certain extent to make your life easier as a chef, to refine the techniques, to make them more presentable and more tasty to the guests. Of course, that's what you want. And I started to learn that that was my passion. That's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to share my experiences and my techniques and what I had learned to those around me. And so finally, that sort of translates to what I'm doing right now, being on YouTube. I really have a great passion for sharing my past experiences, my hardships, my tips and my tricks with all of you. And hopefully you guys can pull something from this, and hopefully it's not just me talking at a computer screen and sharing useless advice. I really want to do the same thing and help you guys share with your friends and your families the same passions that I have. If you guys love cooking and love food and love sharing, I think this is such a great career, such a great opportunity. Even if it's not a career for you, I think it's something super necessary in creating sort of these awesome memories around dinner tables, whether it's at your friend's home or your family's home or at a restaurant. Creating these good, memorable times that you can look back on and go, man, I really had such a fun time eating this. And when you ate this sushi for the first time, it reminds you of some sort of conversation that you had, or things like that. So that's really my passion, is just for sharing, and my passion is that you guys should do the same thing, that it carries on this sort of legacy. When I worked for Thomas Keller, every once in a while we do these meetings, sort of these town hall meetings where we can ask him questions, and he would sort of get up and talk for about an hour or so, and it was like a pep rally, and it was amazing because Thomas Keller is like this incredible chef that he would come to Bouchon, all of his restaurants, once or twice a year, and sort of just unload on his passions and what he learned from his mentors throughout his culinary career. He does this thing where it's kind of this "it's all about" quote, and he'd follow it with it's all about timing, it's all about temperature, it's all about presentation, And he said this one time that I'll forever remember this, when he created his Bouchon cookbook, which I have one signed by him, which is super cool and awesome. In that book, he had a great story about his father, and he got to cook his dad his last meal, and he kind of sort of had a moment of realization that career's not everything. Your profession isn't everything. It's all about sharing. And he has that on the back of his Bouchon book, whether it's on the back or the last page, or I can't remember exactly where, but it's a quote from him. It says, it's all about sharing. Life is all about, being selfless and sort of imparting, what you know to others, and, sharing the great memories and, great times with others to, bring a smile to their face or create another memory. So that's why I do YouTube. That's why I do these videos, and, hopefully you guys do the same thing with your friends and family and loved ones. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it gives you a little bit better perspective on me and where I come from, and some of the passions that I have with the culinary arts. And please share this with your friends and family. And thanks so much for watching, and subscribe if you like this video.
Okay. Now finish up. You guys 2 toes and pump 124, 31.